My girlfriend's girls' night out included her friends' significant others, so I feel left out.
That's
So
unless are they the friends lesbians and their girlfriends came?
they're not.
Oh, dang.
So to make a long story short, my girlfriend of nearly 3 years has always had her girls' night out every 2 to 3 weeks or so, which is perfectly fine because I've always had nights where I did stuff with my friends as well.
The lads.
We're all in our mid to late 20s, by the way. But yesterday, while my girlfriend's friend and her boyfriend hung out at our place, the boyfriend referenced something that happened on Saturday, which was her last night out. I was confused, and after a bit of probing, found out that not only is he a regular on these night outs, but her 2 other friends bring their own boyfriends as well. It's just me who has never been asked, nor even informed that these girls' nights outs weren't the just need to be out with the girls for a bit relaxing nights as she used to claim. Literally a few weeks ago, we talked about her upcoming night out with them, and she told me something like, sometimes I just really need to be with just the girls. Of course, I asked her once we were alone why she never brought it up or why I had never been invited, but she just kept claiming that the guys weren't always invited, and most of the time they just tagged along. Honestly, I feel pretty alone and disrespected right now. Plus, even now, almost 3 years later, I feel like I'm barely in her friend group. I feel like if they were all meeting up anyway, I could have been there and maybe have become friends with them as well. Unlike her, I do invite my girlfriend around to do stuff with my own set of friends a lot. Now it seems like it wasn't just the girls she wanted to see, but rather she just didn't want to spend this time with me, while her friends had no problem spending their time together with their boyfriends. I really don't know what to think or what to do. Okay, so relevant comments from this commenter. I think you're entitled to feel bad. She has been masking going out with her friends under girls' night. There's nothing wrong with her wanting to go out without you, but the lying part makes it weird and borderline disrespectful. I don't think this is an isolated incident, and you feel hurt because there have been other incidents, right? And then OP responded, I don't really know. I mean, everyone has their preferences and their own character. She's always been a bit more cold in the way she acts than my previous partners, but I've never thought that she'd feel like she needed this much of a break from me and the relationship as a whole. As I said in my post, I wouldn't have had an issue at all if this was just a girls' night out and if she really did need to have a bit of a break, but she was literally meeting up with her group of friends and their boyfriends. I genuinely can't imagine going out with my extended friend group twice in a row without even asking my girlfriend to be there with me. More often than not, she comes with me. So I just don't really understand why she wants to separate me from her side of her friends like that. I just don't know how to feel right now. And then there's an update 2 days later. Hey, so first of all, I just want to thank you for your comments. I couldn't reply to all of them due to the thread being locked. I read through them all and I did what I probably should have done directly when it first happened. I went and I talked to her. To make a long story short, there were never any girls' nights out. There was always simple nights out with her friend group. So why wasn't I invited? Because they all hate my guts due to her own fault, according to her. My girlfriend said back when we first started dating, she'd always vent to them about me. All these small issues we fixed between her nights out and literally never talked about again was all her friend group knew about me. Issue after issue, but never how we fixed it together as well. She realized that as well and stopped venting about me, but at that point, it was, according to her, too late. They'd always joke about me behind their backs.
Oh.
The feeling I'd had of being ostracized on the rare occasions where one of her friends would hang out at our place wasn't just a feeling after all. They do really hate me. I simply wanted to know why she was okay with that and why she wouldn't stand up for our relationship. She said she wasn't okay with that, but what could she do? Her friends would have talked to her if she'd said anything. Not only that, but her friends have me as the butt of all of their jokes. In their minds, I'm incompetent, an impotent buffoon. All these fucking side eyes I got when I would talk to any of them wasn't just in my imagination. I talked to my girlfriend back then and she'd always say, it's just in your head. To be honest, it made me mad that she was trying to be the victim in the situation. And I don't know why, but finding out that they despise me and my supposed to be girlfriend is tolerating it and wouldn't defend me made me really, really upset. If I'm being honest at this point, I kind of mentally checked out and I already knew that I won't allow the disrespect and that this relationship is already over. Yet there is so much I just don't understand, so I simply asked her why. Why would you be okay with any of that? Why wouldn't you either stop being friends or literally demanding them to stop talking like that about us or about me? All she said was, "You know how I am. I don't really like being the center of attention." I just kept quiet. Finally, I asked her if anything would change going forward, and she said she could try talking to them individually, but she said it in such a timid way that I don't think for a second she'd actually meant it. Anyway, long story short, I broke up with her. It sucks, and I really feel bad about myself right now. I've always tried to be the best version of myself in this relationship, but knowing that there is a whole group of people out there who literally hate me, and that one person who was supposed to love and defend me no matter what, yet didn't, kind of sucks. And then somebody asked in the comments, so I gotta ask, what was her reaction to being broken up with? And OP responded, she cried and she begged me not to. But as I said above, I asked her if anything would change, but even she wouldn't budge. I was 99% sure I was going to end that talk broken up with her, but after seeing her reaction in the actual talk, just justified it so much more. She left for her best friend's apartment and hasn't messaged me yet, but to be honest, there isn't really anything she could say to change my mind. I loved and still do love her a lot, but I'm still trying to process her friends more or less bullying me indirectly and her literally just being okay with it. That isn't the kind of person that I thought she'd be, nor the kind of person that I want in my life. So top comment, I bet that this ex is never going to admit what she did and never going to correct her friends once they start calling OP a monster, and that she deserves better. It's hard to blame the friend group for that. She poisoned the well just fine on her own. Even as a shoulder to cry on, it's hard to judge when to be sympathetic and let your friend run the frustrations out and when to tell them to look in the mirror.
Am I the asshole for making it absolutely clear my wife and I are not naming our child after my dad's late wife who died a few months ago? Last year, my dad lost his wife of 20 years. A few weeks after her death, my wife and I learned we were expecting our first child. My dad saw this as a gift from his wife. He and my half-siblings, all in their teens, expected me to name my child after her, either through the first or the middle name. My dad even argued that we could still use a masculine version of the name if we had a boy. This was not something I ever intended to do. I told my dad we weren't looking at her name or any similar names for our child. My dad told me that made no sense given the timing of everything. Timing doesn't mean anything. Just because you lost your wife does not mean I'm obligated to name my child after her. That's not okay. And I would not want to do that to my child when clearly they're still grieving very heavily over this. My wife and I pulled back from him and my half-siblings over this. Their anger over the decision has been strong, and my dad has been trying like hell to convince me otherwise. He doesn't know the sex of the baby, but I know the name will bother him. We've decided to honor my late mom in a less direct way by naming our daughter after a flower that was my mom's favorite. I think that's cute. That's really sweet. My dad will pick up on it immediately, and I know it will bother him that I chose to honor my mom over his wife, and that's fucked up. Because how dare you honor the woman who literally brought you into this world over the woman that I've been married to for the past 20 years. No, that's not okay. OP literally says that he has half-siblings. So there are other siblings that can 100% name their children after their mom. Like, why are you pushing for your son to name his child after his stepmother when she literally has biological children that may want the honor? I decided to come in firmly and make it clear and leave no room for doubt that my wife and I are not choosing his wife's name or anything connected to her. I told him this is not up for discussion or debate anymore, and the decision is final, and that the signs he and my half-siblings saw to make it make sense were not shared by me. In my mind, she had 3 kids, so one of them can name a future child after her. That's exactly what I said. But she was not my mother, and I was not too fond of her. That's simply it. Her death changed nothing for me regarding that, and she's not someone I would want to name my child after. Ever since I came out and spoke clearly, I can see the anger in my dad and half-siblings has intensified. They haven't spoken to me directly, but they ran about me to other relatives, and they've said I'm an insensitive asshole. My dad even ranted to relatives about the length of time that she was in my life versus my mom, and how disgusting it is that I wouldn't honor that. He doesn't know that we've chosen a name that ties to my mom. This is just him ranting. But I want to know if people think I'm the asshole to be so firm about this, or for outright rejecting the idea even. So am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. And I absolutely love that you were firm, that you came straight out and you were direct and you told them this is not going to happen. It's not up for discussion. I'm not debating with you anymore. This is what we've decided to do or to not to do. I love that. We love a king and a queen that have boundaries and are not afraid to stick to them. It's clear as day that your dad and your half siblings are grieving, and that's absolutely okay because they lost someone that was extremely close to them, and they're going to hurt, they're going to grieve for a very long time. But what is not okay is them trying to use that grief to guilt trip you into doing something that you don't want to do. They're telling you that you need to honor this woman because that was their mother, that was his wife, that was someone that was extremely special to them. So they assume that she should be special to you. But in fact, you have your own special lady that you want to honor, and you're wrong for wanting to do that. So honoring their mother is okay, but honoring yours is absolutely out of the question. That's fucked up. No, baby, you're not doing anything wrong. Give your child a name that belongs to them, not one that already belongs to someone else, because that's just going to cause them a lifetime of grief, having to be forced to fill the shoes of the person that they're named after.